Hi, folks. Good morning to each one of you, and it's always a pleasure to connect and speak with you on contemporary topics to do with life and career. It's a very, very interesting topic today. And if you're someone who's probably in the process of negotiating some offers from prospective employers, this is going to be very, very relevant to you. Typical trust strategies which prospective employers or employers who are interviewing you follow to make you accept a lowball offer. Lowballing is nothing but giving options to you and make you believe that I think they're giving very good options, and in the process, kind of tease your mind into accepting one of them rather than applying your own thoughts into what kind of offer you want, what you are really worth in the market, and what should be the apt compensation for your competencies and skills. So, of course, there are lots of other techniques which are relevant when you discuss negotiate offers. But this is something which you need to be very, very wary of. And if you're alert to what employers do in terms of giving lowballing offers, then you'll very, very clearly safeguard your interests in terms of looking for an apt compensation. And if it doesn't work out, maybe then you should look at other employers who will give you appropriate compensations. First things first, I think you probably are well aware of what your compensation levels are now, and very clearly are aware of what compensation levels people your peers are, and in terms of being in sync with the roles and responsibilities of what the job is being offered to you, you very clearly will know what's the kind of salary bracket you should be on. So when the expectations are being asked for, yes, obviously you can start by asking them a number, and in answer you can give your number. But if they insist that you give a number first, I think the best thing to do is to probably tell them that I'm looking at something like this broad band of compensation. Never give an exact figure, because that again could be much less than what they are willing to offer you, or probably their salary levels are much higher than what you really are asking for. So try and keep it a broad band. For example, if you're somebody with 5 years of experience and you are, I'm assuming that you're a techie, and you presently are at about 12 or 13 lakhs per annum. Obviously, you need to tell them that you are looking something in the bracket of 15 to 20 or 22 lakhs per annum, which includes fixed variables and other assets. Don't worry about the fact that this particular band which you will indicate is very, very broad, because that's how you play the game. And that's how you also safeguard your interest in the absence of information about what exactly they have in mind in terms of an offer. So that is something which you need to very, very clearly bear in mind. So, of course, if you're not aware of what your present market-driven compensations or market-pegged compensation levels are for your skills and competencies and years of experience, you should probably resort to doing a lot of research on sites like Glassdoor and other similar sites, which give you abundant amount of information, because information which is posted there is posted by people who have worked in those worked with these employers, and they are aware of what they are giving. That besides, as I always keep saying, you obviously need to have a couple of recruiters as your friends, so that in times like these, they can probably score through a database of profiles on these public job portals, and from that, give you information as to what is the current compensation of someone who's doing that role. Because in 99% of the cases, as a recruiter, I've seen that most of the times the profile which is being replaced by a new role, I think that old profile or the existing person's profile is there on this job site. So that is the easiest way to find out what the current compensation is. Of course, even on LinkedIn, you can do this research and find out who's holding that role now. And of course, if you are more inquisitive as to things like stability and things like that, you need to probably find out as to why that person is leaving. Either he could be exiting the organization for better prospects, or maybe he is probably being moved to a better role because he needs to be grown within the organization. That is, of course, that is not relevant to our discussion here. And coming back to the most important factor in terms of how employers trick your mind into accepting an offer. When once the negotiation starts, immediately they'll give you two attractive offers, two offers which seem very, very attractive. And in terms of kind of put pressure on you and say that you need to accept one of the offers very, very urgently, because we need to close the position like we would have closed it yesterday. I think this is the typical language which any talent acquisition guy or a HR guy uses in the organizations. It would be ridiculous because the position would have been open for 3 months for the want of the right candidate, and you are the right candidate after a long gap. And despite the fact that this is despite the fact that this is the reality there, I think this HR person or the recruiter will tell you that they have tremendous sense of urgency in closing the position, and that is why they're putting pressure on you to accept one of the offers. And how they present these lowball offers, I'll just give you one example. We'll probably go back to the case where the candidate has 5 years experience and is probably extremely good as a techie, and his present compensation is about 12 to 13 lakhs per annum. They'll present you two offers. One offer, they will say that the gross compensation or the CTC is about 17 lakhs, and the other offer which they will mention you is they will say that we will give 15 lakhs plus variable components plus flexibility in terms of making it a hybrid work model. I'm saying this can be anything, but this is how they'll present it. And when you look at it, one of them probably will sure be impressive to you, and immediately you'll probably, if you are under duress, if you are under pressure, if you are someone who wants an offer very, very urgently, then you'll probably accept one of them, completely ignoring the fact that you probably deserve much more. As I said, someone who is doing that role now might be even getting 20 to 22 lakhs, and they are replacing this person, or they are replacing the same competency skills at probably 30 or 40% lesser cost. If you ask me why they do this, I think this is what HR and talent acquisition people are meant for in any organizations, because as professionals, I think this is where they score brownie points, because their KRAs include saving recruitment costs for the organizations and ongoing ongoing employee costs in the organization, which is a huge component in organizations. Organizations will be under tremendous pressure to save as much of cost as possible as far as manpower is concerned, because manpower costs are typically 60 to 70% of the organizational costs in any service or tech organization. So if assuming that they're going to offer about 30, they roll out about 30 offers in a month, saving about a lakh or two in every single offer is going to save almost half a crore for the organization, which again is a huge advantage when the appraisal happens for the talent acquisition team. So this is the dynamics which we need to keep in mind, and there is a fair amount of selfishness and a personal agenda for these HR and talent acquisition guys when they roll out the offers. That is why even when the hiring team is willing to give a much, much higher compensation, HR's singular objective will be to make sure that they probably save as much of money as possible. So that is what when they make this two offer thing and make it appear that one of them is extremely attractive. This is the singular intent, because that is what they want. They want to design two offers and make you accept one of them, and probably see if you are under some kind of duress to make you accept it. And in most of the cases, what happens is without much of an afterthought, we probably accept the offer, because we are also at times in a sense of hurry, and we probably try, assuming that it is the right employer brand, I think we probably want to quickly pick up the offer. So try and avoid being a prey to this particular trick by prospective employers. And to avoid this, one, you need to be very, very clear in terms of what is the compensation you want. If you are at 15 lakhs per annum now, hypothetically, and if you are wanting a 30% hike, I think that should be non-negotiable. So 15, roughly about 20 to 23 lakhs, including variable components, bonus, and things like that. You be very firm that you're presently at 15 lakh per annum, and 20 to 23 lakhs is what your expectation is. And the immediate question from this HR and talent acquisition guys is, can you make it a little lesser? You're saying 22 to 23 lakhs. Our budget is 20 lakhs. How will you respond? You'll immediately probably vacillate and try and see if you want to probably accept it. The moment you vacillate, you're probably falling into a trap which they are setting, because they very, very clearly are playing mind games here. And depending on what is the kind of body language you use, what is the kind of assertiveness you are in, and what is the kind of clarity in mind you have about the expected compensation, they play a combination of these factors and see whether they can buy you cheap. I think that is the most appropriate word. So as I said initially, while there may be numerous other techniques in which these organizations try and accept you, what is called as lowball offers. The classic thing which they use is what I said as roll out two offers, keep ready two offers for you, and try and impress you with one of them so that you kind of fall in line, accept it. This is what is also popularly now called as decoy offers, because they're trying to make two similar offers and uh, make it appear that one of them is extremely attractive for your skills and competencies. And as I said earlier, and if you are in a even if you are in a 1% hurry about accepting the offer or taking up the offer immediately, you'll rush through it and probably accept an offer. End of the day, when you accept the offer, probably after a month or so, you'll realize that you are worth much more in the market, and there are other employers who are willing to give much more. And even if someone else had interviewed for the same role which you did, they would have probably got much higher compensation. It also leads to a huge dissonance in terms of your opportunities with the organization. You're not going to be comfortable there, and in the process, you'll also probably be hitting the longevity of your employment there. So keep all this in mind. As I said, there are numerous other ways and means in which salaries are negotiated, but this is the gist of what really happens in the job market today across companies. It can be tech, it can be not tech, it can be any other company. HR or the compensation benefits team or the recruiter's singular intent is to probably buy you cheap. And I think that is something which you need to bear in mind. They're not there to probably do you a favor. Although they might make it appear that they're doing a favor, the real fact remains that they probably will want to buy you cheap. So keep all this in mind. Never fall cheap, unless otherwise you're in some kind of duress. Unless probably you've been on a sabbatical and you're probably taking a parole after a gap and things like that. Even in those situations, you probably cannot undervalue you because there is a sense of urgency. Consciously, you've taken a sabbatical for some reason. It can be intraneous or extraneous. But after a sabbatical, if you probably are going to go back by 3 or 4 years in terms of your compensation, then it is going to be a huge setback for your career. So keep this in mind and be very clear as to where you are in terms of your compensation now, and be very clear as to what compensation you need to have in case of an apt role with the prospective employer. Of course, assuming this employer is a good employer brand whom you want to really work with for the next 3 to 5 years. And another classic tactic which these HR guys use is that look at the role at responsibility, look at the span of control. We are giving you a much bigger span of control, and money probably shouldn't be a primary consideration for you. But believe me, as someone with 2 decades of experience, if someone tells you that money is not a primary consideration for being on a job, uh, uh, I think you can probably jocularly ask him, "What are you in this particular job for? Is it for job satisfaction, happiness, and stuff like that?" I think the real answer is everybody is there for the money in the game, and you should also be there for the money in the game, because end of the day, if you make the mistake of not giving due importance to money in this job changes, I think your career probably will become pointless, because end of the day, if you probably have to have the kind of salary brackets which the industry deems you fit, I think if you're going to stay behind in that, I think the market will eventually judge your competencies as not apt. These are some of the interesting points which I wanted to share very particularly on the salary negotiations. I'm sure this has given you a fair idea as to how the compensations are being discussed in the market today, and some of the triggers which are used by HR and recruitment teams in prospective employers is what I've indicated to you. Whatever they do will be probably cosmetic variations of this. Keep this in mind, and sure, get the best offer for you in the market when you change your job next. It could be now, it could be tomorrow, it could be next year. Thanks for your time. All the very best for your life and career ahead. I'll see you soon in another podcast. Thank you.